started. Welcome to First Friday on this crisp Bay County morning. Everybody loved the weather outside today and it feels so good. It's time to be serious, Commander. Welcome to First Friday. I'd like to thank our sponsors this morning, beginning with today's program sponsor, Early Learning Coalition of Northwest Florida. Can we give them a big thank you? Ascension Sacred Heart, our Rotunda sponsor, RC Events and Coca-Cola for our delicious coffee and beverages, along with iHeartMedia for the entertainment in the lobby. Also, to let you know, we've had some behavioral issues in the back of the room on First Friday, so we will be recording today's First Friday in the event that we need that. So at this time, I'd like to ask Reverend Henry Hazard to give us our invocation this morning, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Kyle. Heavenly Father, it's certainly a privilege to live in a county that is concerned about their children and families so they'll be healthy, happy, and able to make progress in school. And Father, we give you thanks for them, and we thank you for here. But Lord, we're going to miss Jerry Tabbitt. We ask God you'd be with his family, but we want to thank you that he's now with his beloved wife, Norma. We ask your blessing now upon this meeting. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
You join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I could ask our elected officials, first responders, and military personnel to please stand, and let's recognize you this morning. Yes. Thank you for all you do for our community. And so now it's time for our new member introductions. For our first-time attendees, please just state your name and your business. It's not a time for a commercial message, so we can get out of here on time. Tamara, if you'll please come up. First time.
First-time attendees, new members, please step on up.
Hi, my name is Ian. I'm with Your Storage Units. I manage the one right across the bridge over here.
I am Amy Marie with the Neighbors of Lynn Haven.
Hi, I'm Carla. I'm the Your Storage Units in Panama City.
Hi, I'm Jay Barry. I'm with Setco. If you know Taylor, I'm not replacing her. I'm just stepping in her shoes.
Kyle Brown, Senior Acquisition Program Manager, Diconia.
Kathleen Lonsway, Meticulous Construction.
Hi, I'm Jamie Stanovich, and I'm with Lamar Advertising.
All right. Welcome. We're so glad that you guys are here today. So this month, the Early Learning Coalition of Northwest Florida has graciously sponsored today's event. And here today is the Executive Director, Susan Gage, to share an important message. But before I invite her up, I will tell you I've had the opportunity to listen to her speak several times. I quietly have crushed some of her work and all that she's doing in our community. I think that she's a special lady. While she's academically decorated, she has a heart to make a difference in our community. Would y'all give her a warm Bay County welcome when she comes up?
Good morning. How's everybody? Okay, shout out to the behavior problems in the back. Yes. Okay, let's own what we own, okay? All right. Good morning. My name is Susan Gage. I'm the Executive Director with the Early Learning Coalition of Northwest Florida. And it is my pleasure to be here with you for the third year in a row. That's pretty cool. Speaking to, so many of my closest friends is not something I'm naturally comfortable with. I kind of have a tendency to like the younger ones. But whenever I get to come to Bay County to the chamber, it is one of those just special treats. I just want you to know how much it's on my heart that I thank you for showing up and for being here and being willing to listen to how things are going in the early learning world. So I have a question for you guys. Guess how old we are? I mean, I know that's loaded for a woman standing on a stage, but I invited you to that one. Okay, not how old I am, how old we are. The Early Learning Coalition is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. Yeah. We're still here, we're still standing, and we're still impacting the lives of children. And my team said, Susan, you need to focus on relaxing the crowd a little bit. So the best way I know to relax a crowd is to make you guys wish me off the stage a little bit faster. So at an earlier presentation I did some dad jokes. So those of you who heard my dad jokes, these are different dad jokes. But there's a reason why I'm telling these dad jokes. So here's my first dad joke. And if Jason is in the room, don't ask me to do any comedy or anything like that in the future here. But here it is. Okay. Why did the scarecrow have a great birthday? Because he was outstanding in his field. Okay. One more. What did the birthday card say to the stamp? Stick with me and we'll go far. And we have gone far, 20 years of doing amazing things. And over the past 20 years, the Early Learning Coalition of Northwest Florida has proudly served tens of thousands of children and families across our 7-county region. From developmental screenings to administering the school readiness and voluntary pre-kindergarten program to provider support, our work has touched lives in every corner of our community. And the numbers and the programs that we have represent more than just participation. They reflect real stories of growth, resilience, and opportunities. Every child we've reached is a step toward a stronger future, and every family we've supported through these programs like Help Me Grow, EC3, our Books, Balls, and Blocks, our Child Care Resource and Referral, Voluntary Pre-Kindergarten School Readiness, Power Up for Kindergarten, and a few other things that we didn't fit on one of those beautiful blocks up there, is a building block for a healthier, more vibrant Northwest Florida. And that's, I think, what we all want here in this room. So as we celebrate this 20-year milestone, we're not just looking back, we're looking ahead. The next 20 years are about expanding access, deepening our impact, and continuing to ensure that every child has access to high-quality early learning experiences. And at the Early Learning Coalition, it comes down to this. We exist to help grow healthy children and parents in the relationship parents, and the relationship between them, and that we believe strong families are the foundation of strong communities, and that early learning is where it all begins. Our vision is bold, it is clear, and it is up there for all of you to read. We envision a Northwest Florida where all children receive world-class early education and care, thereby being fully prepared to learn upon entering kindergarten. That is a bold statement. It is a lofty statement. But it's a statement that is our North Star. And if you look at the screen, you're probably thinking, Susan, not kindergarten readiness and third grade reading scores again. Yeah, again, but. I want to think about kindergarten readiness just a little bit differently, and I want to take you on that thought process with me. What does it mean to be ready for kindergarten? State of Florida defines ready for kindergarten using a specific metric. We see the results there. And we probably don't like where it is. And that's cool. So that's why we're going to look at some things a little bit differently. So I believe if we as a community start to come together and define for ourselves what it means to be ready for kindergarten, our kindergarten readiness rates will start to improve in the direction that we really want them to go, up. But before we can define, it's not just my definition, it's a community's definition. And I would love for you guys to help me define what it means to be ready for kindergarten. So I have been asking all over our 7 counties and beyond, what it means to be ready for kindergarten. I've asked our team at the coalition. I've asked our child care providers and our VPK educators and providers. I've asked policymakers. I've asked faculty of institutions, much like FSU, PC. I've even asked my 2 dogs. And and they looked at me just like this. They're like, we don't care about kindergarten. Are you going to feed us, lady? But because I'm in a room with some amazing people, I want to ask you what it means to be ready for kindergarten. And because imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, I want to shout out to Gina Littleton from the United Way with this activity that we are shamelessly stealing. Yes, shout out to the United Way. Come on, they do some great stuff. Not only do they help 6 counties in the area, they also give us great tools that we can borrow. So we're going to borrow her activity that she used at the United Way annual kickoff. So Gina, I don't know if you're here, but if you are here, wherever you are, thank you. And know that I appreciate you sharing this with us. So if everybody would take out their phone, because I know you all have it, because I'm seeing you on them. This is the teacher in me. Pull out your phones, not put away your phones. Pull out your phones and scan that QR code. And we're going to take a little, I don't want to call it a test. We're just going to answer some questions. So Brooke, if you can work your magic over there. Yeah, okay, we need some theme music. Do, 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 do. She promised me it worked yesterday. There we go. All right, our first question, do you play a role in the life of a young child? So I want you to think about this as you're answering this. Do you have a young child in your house? Do you have a grandchild? Do you have a staff member who has a child? Yeah, I think most of you guys should be, that number should be going down, the other number should be going up. So most of us, we do play a role in the life of a child, whether it's a direct role as a parent or grandparent, or maybe an indirect role as an employer, or as a community member or church member. So what are we saying here? About halvesies here. So the 39 of you who are playing along who said, no, you don't, 40, oh my gosh, that's going the wrong direction. I bet you if I had a conversation, I could convince you otherwise that you do play a role in the life of a young child. Let's go to question number 2. Which of the following contributes most to healthy brain development in early childhood? And as you guys are answering that question, I want to talk to you or tell you a little bit about why this is important. A child's brain is 90% developed before the age of 5. But I'm wondering which is the most important. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes here. I love how to watch it move. It's so cool. I love it. Consistent relationships. Here's the cool thing. All of those are. And they're all just as important as each one of them. But we get to see what the room thinks is the most important. Consistent relationships. Look at that. Look at conversations in safe environments running it. Proper nutrition. Kind of important, guys. Kind of important. Almost as important as all the other ones, I think. But great. All right, let's do our next question. What is the most important predictors that a child is ready for kindergarten? Most important predictors: self-care, ability to discuss their emotions, familiarity with routines, positive interactions with others. I don't know if we have anybody from the district here, but I would love to hear the district tell me what they think the most. What's missing from here? Barcodes. What's missing from here? Knowing their ABCs. Is that important? Yes. Is it the most important? And is that one of the best predictors to kindergarten success? Nah. It's these other things. It's these seemingly soft skills, right? Can we say soft skills with a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old? There's some kinds of soft skills out here. But these are the things that research has shown is important for helping ensure that a child is ready for kindergarten. And then we have one more, and this is an active, again, participation. I want you to picture with me that you're on a desert island. And I need you to see the plane in the distance, and so you have one opportunity to get that plane's attention. But in order to get that plane's attention, you have to write one word that signifies what it means to be ready for kindergarten. And I want to see what one word is that you're going to put out on your desert island so the airplane flying over can get to see. Let's watch this evolve a little bit. Utensils. Cool. Look at these. Confidence. Can you imagine if you had a school full of confident 5-year-olds what they could accomplish? Yes, they would take over the world. Don't you know it? Look at that. Wonderful. So as we continue to evolve, I love it. I love it. We're going to take this information and we're going to start to use it. And you're going to start to hear in Bay County as we reach out to the citizens in Bay County about what does it mean to be ready for kindergarten, because it's not just something we need to answer. It's not just something that the state of Florida needs to answer, because the state of Florida has its measurement and we see how we do. But we believe that if we can help Bay County define what it means to be ready for kindergarten, then we will be able to move that needle a little bit, or not a little bit, heck, a lot of it in the right direction. So thank you for participating in my research, albeit not scientific, but useful. And I'm going to take your responses again and incorporate them into our evolving definition of what it means to be ready for kindergarten. So now you're thinking, okay, Susan, this is year number 3. What do I do? How can I be a part of this work? So I'm going to sit down really soon and share the stage with my great friend Rick with the Children's Movement, who's going to talk to you about where you can and how you can help get children ready for kindergarten. So again, my name is Susan. I am with the Early Learning Coalition of Northwest Florida, and I look forward to starting conversations about kindergarten readiness with you if we haven't already, continuing conversations if we've already met and we've already talked, but working with you for the next 20 years to help Bay County's youngest be ready for school. Thank you.
Not me? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought she was introducing me. Sorry. I'm ready.
I'm glad you're ready. Susan, thank you for all of the work that you do. I'll tell you that usually the first Friday is full of like cheese ball jokes, and I'm not really a cheese ball joke kind of guy, so I reached out to David Powell. Love you, brother, for some good jokes. So obviously, you know, Shane Boyette is our fearless leader. I just want to let you know, Shane, that your leadership has been electrifying. I find your leadership energizing. And I will tell you that every report that comes from you or your company, it never discounts anything. Would you welcome our Courage Chair, Mr. Shane Boyette?
Thanks, Kyle. You know, it used to be funny, you know, when I first started in the industry over 20 years ago, that used to be kind of a cool joke to play, like at a grocery store or something, like, you guys don't get the employee discount? You can't do that anymore. They'll like run you out of the store, but we pay full price as well. So hey, we want to welcome you all to our first Friday for October. We're very happy that you're here today. Once again, standing room only, so we appreciate you coming out and making this a priority every month. Thank you, Suzanne, for being here and sponsoring today. Also, thank Rick for being so eager to get up here and share your story with us. We're excited to hear from you. And he's, the Children's Movement of Florida, so we appreciate you being here and look forward to hearing your program today. We also want to take a minute to thank our vision investors. You see the list of them there who have come forward this year and stepped up in a meaningful way to support our chamber as we look to grow this organization and do some great things going forward. So if you'd love to join that list, you can get with chamber staff. And there's no shortage of good news. This month we have a lot going on at the chamber. I'm becoming painfully aware of how much we have going on at the chamber in the absence of a CEO. So that's been a fun ride this past week. I'm tired and I'm exhausted running 3 jobs right now, but there's a lot going on and we have a lot to be proud of. So we're gonna get started here with government and military affairs. So the efforts that Sean is running for us. Okay, let's see. Yep. So the advocacy that we've had going on in our chamber, we came together to support Eastern Shipbuilding Group when they were sort of facing some uncertainty from the federal government about the U.S. Coast Guard program that they have. So we're happy to say that our advocacy efforts, along with many others, has provided a huge win for Eastern in our community. Yes, thank you. Yeah, one of our top employers in our community, and we're very proud of them and happy to see this this relationship going forward, among others that have been announced since then, so that's great. Looking at the legislative survey for next year, this part of our annual planning cycle is to take input from our members to see what's important to them from a legislative front, so we're wrapping that up. And then also, that will help us get ready for developing white papers and sharing our priorities with our legislators in Tallahassee in our annual trip to the Hill. On September 15th, we welcomed four-star General. You don't have a four-star in your community every day. General Spain was here, and we welcomed him at Hotel Indigo, so that was a great event. Unfortunately, I missed that one, but you can see Joe up there cheesing it up. So we love it when our high brass comes to town, so we want to celebrate that. Looking ahead, there's a lot coming down the pike in military affairs. We have the commissioning of the USS Pier coming to our community. That is a huge opportunity for this area. We're going to be hosting a reception on the 12th. You see the date there at the bottom of the slide. And then, of course, the actual commissioning itself is on the 15th, and we want all of you to be there for that. So mark your calendars for November 15th. It's going to be a big day for this community. Okay, on the foundation side of the house, we have a lot going on. Lisa's doing a great job sort of leading that area. We have our Leadership Bay class. They're here with us today. A great turnout in both the applications and the participation that we have here in the 43rd class. It was a very high application. High application class this year. And unfortunately, what that means is not everybody gets to participate, right? So there were some hard decisions that the committee had to make to select this class. And if you didn't make it this year, we encourage you to reapply next year, and we look forward to your participation in that. Okay, the Leadership Bay Steering Committee. Okay, well, they're here today. We're going to celebrate them right here in our navy blue polos. Our leadership class of 2025, 2026. There's the names. I don't know if you can read them all, but I'm going to. So we're going to start, and if you would, just hold your applause. We'll celebrate them all at the end, but when I call your name, if you'll just stand up and wave to everybody, and then we'll applaud you at the end. So first up is Elena Simmons with Bay District Schools. Stand up and wave. Hey! All right, we have Alan Crockett, Ascension Sacred Heart Bay, excuse me. We have Angela Rolak. Hey, Angela. All right, she's with Bay County Tax Collector's Office. Ashley Berlin, Bay County Public Library. Hey, Ashley. We have Ashlyn Glather. Hey. She's with Gulf Coast State College Foundation. Beth Klein with Bay. Yeah, who's that? Yeah. We have Caesar Kellum. Hey, Caesar. Caesar's with Kinetic Leadership Consulting, and Carolyn McBean, AMI Kids, Maritime Academy. Christina Knox. We know Christina? Yep, she's with Junior League of Panama City, and Haley Bryant, Capital City Bank. Hunter Ginn with Ginn Consulting. Here's Hunter. James Tucker, Bay County Utilities. We have Jennifer Burke-Jackson, JLG Architects. We have Lisa Galindo with the Law Office of Lisa Galindo. Mary Raffield with Hello Credit Union. Murphy Parrish, Aaron Rich Marketing. Rob Griffith with Hut Insurance. Savannah Mateel, Empire Real Estate, yeah. Sean Byram, Supervisor of Elections Office. Stacy Rausch, City of Panama City. Sutton McGee, there's Sutton. He's with Reliance South Construction. Suzanne Mendel, Panama City. Tiffany Harnish, Counts Real Estate, okay. Tori Peak, FSU PC, and Walker Brown, Dermatology Specialist Florida. All right, let's give them all a round of applause. All right, well, I had the opportunity to speak to them a little bit yesterday, and I'm so excited about the participants in this class and what they're going to learn and grow and accomplish this year. So we look forward to hearing more from you later on this year or next. Okay, so on the events side of the house, we've got a lot of things coming up. So we're going to be, first, thank you for all of your participation in Membership Appreciation Month. That was a very successful month. A lot of great things we got to celebrate over that period. All of the 9 award winners that we had right here in this room just a couple of weeks ago for that luncheon. That was a great time. So we appreciate all of you for supporting that. Unfortunately, the clay shoot that we had scheduled for the 26th was rained out, and we have a new date for October 24th, so circle that on your calendar. And since we got rained out, I do have some openings on my team, so if anybody wants to drag out their shotgun, let me know, and we'll get that going. It is sold out, so you're going to have to find somebody like me that's looking to fill spots to participate in that. Speaking of the clay shoot, we do have a big old stack of chance to win tickets. So we're raffling off we're giving the opportunity for a chance to win 2 semi-automatic. There's a legal thing with that. I don't want to go to jail, folks. We're not gambling here. Yep. So we do have tickets for sale for 2 of these semi-auto. These are 12 gauges. Stoger, that's an M3000 and an M3500. So the chance to win is very good. They're $25 each. They're 7 for 100, and your odds are going to be really, really good. So if you're looking to add another semi-auto to your gun cabinet, this is what you want to do. Pick one of these tickets up. You can see any member of the staff, but Philomena's sort of running with that. And if you can't catch her, then find me, and we'll make sure we get you a ticket. Okay, First Responders Appreciation Award. This is one of my favorite events. This room will be packed out with all kinds of different first responders, fire, police, lifeguards, you name it. We're going to fill this room and really love on our first responders here on the 23rd, which is the day before the clay shoot. So we got a lot going on that week. We are selling tables and individual tickets. So if you want to get in on that, please see your chamber staff. And we will, again, love on and celebrate our first responders and honor some of them at that event. Just around the corner, again, circle this on your calendar, put it in your phone, however you keep up with your appointments. Friday, January 23rd is, so that's our annual dinner. Look at that. That's a beautiful graphic. This is going to be at Edgewater. You don't want to miss that. We're going to start selling those sponsorships, tables, and tickets November 1st, so you want to make sure you're keeping your calendar open for that. Enchanted Forest is our theme, and we look forward to seeing you there at that event. Okay, next up is the Bay Biz that you have in front of you on the table if you're seated, and if you're standing up, make sure you get around and grab one. There's a lot going on in this edition of Bay Biz. We're celebrating the repeal of the business rent tax. That was a huge legislative win for not just this community, but for the whole state of Florida. And your chamber played a part in that, lobbying to repeal that at the Capitol. The long-coming acquisition of Barefoot Palms by the Navy. Finally get to celebrate getting that across the finish line, right? Yeah, thumbs up from the Navy folks. And then also, let's not forget Mexico Beach and what's going on over there, a major renourishment project over there. They're featured on our cover, and we love our Mexico Beach friends. You'll also find insights on small business and AI, one of my favorite new topics, and of course, celebration of you, our members. Okay. All right, so it's time, excuse me, it's time for the ambassadors to finally get some energy in this room, right? Where you at, ambassadors? There they are. So our ambassadors, they're the face of our organization. They're the one that are greeting you at the doors and pumping up the energy in the crowd and doing all the ribbon cuttings, all the hard work that this organization couldn't do without them. So we appreciate your volunteer efforts. Okay, so they are welcoming new faces we like to see. I'm sorry, I got off script there. So each month we're gonna get to my favorite part, trying to pronounce apple of our eye. So if y'all watch me over the years, over this year, that's been something that I can't seem to get that one out. But we're gonna celebrate 2 businesses here in our community this month with the Apple of our Eye Awards. I told you I can't do it. But I got to go out and help with, kind of ribbon cutting on this one. Our first winner this month for the Apple of Our Eye Award for new construction is Gulf Coast State College, right across the street. Our National Natural Science Building. Here to accept the award, President Glenn McDonald. Woo.
I would love for all of you to come to our campus and see the new Natural Sciences building. It's beautiful. I want to thank the Chamber for cutting the ribbon and to let no pun go untended. that for the misbehaving people in the back, a termite walked into a bar and said, "Is the bar tender here?"
You bumped me off the podium for that. Yeah. I'm agreeing with Susan too, like the way to, just get me out of here and everybody will be good. All right, well, in all seriousness, though, a beautiful building over there across the street, and congratulations I know that was a big lift to get that done, so congratulations on that. All right, I'm almost done here, guys. You're gonna get me out of here in just a second. All right, so our next Apple of Our Eye Award winner is for the renovation category. And there you see it is Restore Physical Therapy. Unfortunately, Mr. Peden couldn't be here today to accept this award. He had a staff shortage, so he had to be there to hold down the fort. But let's go ahead and congratulate Mr. Stephen Peden. All right, we appreciate all that our businesses do to make our community look beautiful for those that live, work, and play here and prospect here as well. That's important. After hours this month is October 23rd. I told you October is going to be busy. 4 o'clock at Dunlap and Shipman. So this is one of our board members, Dee Rowan, or Denise Rowan. This is her office here on Harrison, 5558 Harrison. So we want to see you there at 4 o'clock on the 23rd to celebrate our after hours opportunity this month. Last but not least, the Chamber invites you to get acquainted with our new membership platform. This is Growth Zone, and we want to make sure that everybody's getting in there, logging on, creating log-ons so that you can interact with the Chamber, see what's going on, receive your invoices, make your payments, and of course, if you're having any trouble finding it and getting into it, any sort of trouble with accessing that program, make sure that you reach out to our Chamber staff. They are here to help you. Okay. The moment you've all been waiting for. I have no further announcements. And at this time, we're going to turn it back over to Kyle. Thank you all so much. Don't forget to buy your tickets.
Thank you, Shane. We appreciate your leadership and just being a genuine person, because how many of you appreciate leadership that's not for sale? I will tell you that that's kind of cheesy, because I was thinking about how it would be odd for me to take a $200 gift card from Neil Stewart to suggest that you should go to buy a RV at RV Connection after this, but I wouldn't do that, because also I typically make a crack at Glenn McDonald at every meeting, so I won't make a crack at him every time I have a microphone, but I'll just tell you a story. So what had happened was, I was the MAG chair, and you have all of these high-ranking military officials here, and I was telling a story about how I had ran into Glenn at a clothing store, and how it was so interesting to run into him at the youth and children's section in Men's Warehouse buying clothes. And as you can imagine, that went over like a fart in church. And I actually got booed by our military officials, because Glenn is absolutely so loved, absolutely. So listen, this guy, Shane Banciella today, I actually have almost 2 pages to describe what a winner you are in life and how much you are doing for the children's movement of Florida. So Rick Banciella, the Director of Business Engagement for the Children's Movement of Florida. Under Rick's leadership, the Bosses for Babies initiative has grown into a powerful network of more than 110 Florida business and community leaders who champion early childhood. Through his initiative, the Children's Movement celebrates and promotes employers with family-friendly workplace policies, knowing that supporting working parents is a key factor in improving kindergarten readiness and shaping Florida's future workforce. Rick also serves as co-chair of the Thrive by 5 Tampa Bay Family Friendly Business Awards, which recognizes organizations in the Tampa Bay area for their commitment to family-first business practices, mirroring the mission of Bosses for Babies on a regional level. With over 30 years of leadership and marketing experience in media and communication, Rick's career has included roles at major brands such as the Miami Herald, Knight Ridder, McClatchy, and NBC. Prior to joining the children's movement, he relaunched Travel Host Miami and The Beaches, a tourism-based magazine and website for local visitors. A longtime advocate for both professional advancement and community service, Rick has held leadership roles with the Advertising Federation of Miami and the American Advertising Federation's 4th District, where he served as president and later district governor. He has also been a dedicated supporter of autism-related causes, including the Fight for Sesco Foundation. And Rick holds a degree in public administrations from FIU and is also an alum of Miami-Dade College. He lives in Miami with his wife Denise, their son Nicholas, and this is an interesting note about you, but you have several free-spirited cats which come and go after all of that. Would you guys welcome Rick to the podium?
Good morning, everyone. I apologize for that bio. I didn't realize that's what's on the website. But anyway, thank you. Thank you to everybody for being here, for allowing me to speak. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Chamber. I know this conversation started a while ago with Patrick about having the opportunity to be here, but now that we're here, thank you. Just click, right? Beautiful. I am the Director of Business Engagement, and as the bio explained, I didn't come from the non-for-profit side. I came from the business side. And the reason I was put in this role is because of the fact that for 30 years I was dealing with businesses and had no clue about early education, had no clue about early brain development. For those of you who may not be familiar with the children's movement, we've been around for 20 years. We're all about bringing together, or everything to do with 0 to 5, that space, from birth to 5 years old, making sure that every child in the state of Florida, doesn't matter zip code, ethnicity, background, whatever the case, has the same opportunities. Children's Movement is multiple initiatives, among them the Future Project, which is about bringing quality early learning education facilities and parents and teachers together to try to build a better roadmap going forward. And then I also, like we said earlier, I lead the Bosses for Babies initiative. Now, as Susan was mentioning, a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to repeat a few of the facts that she said, but as a business person, I had no clue. I had no clue that by the time you're 3, 80 to 85% of your brains develop. As Susan said, by the time you're 5, 90% of your brains develop. About 5 years ago, Mark Wilson, who's the president of the Florida Chamber, came to us, and he wanted us to be what is called the goal leader in that 0 to 5 space. They have a whole thing called the 2030 Project, and it is where the state of Florida needs to be by 2030. And a lot of the numbers you're going to see, and some of the numbers that Susan showed, are based on that, on the Florida scorecard. If you haven't had a chance, go to it. It's a site that you can drill down in any county and almost down to the zip code level as to multiple things, from income to education to it's a wonderful site to get information on the community. So the first thing I will say, that by 2030, there's going to be another 4.5 million children in the state of Florida under 6. What are we doing as a state? What are we doing as a local community to address that? Now, as Susan said, we look at two things. We look at kindergarten readiness, and we look at 3rd grade reading scores. Now, those are so important because, again, going back to my background, I had no clue. I didn't realize that at 9 years old, if a child is not reading at grade level, he is already behind the curve. A child who's 9 who is reading at grade level, and a child who is not, that one who is will statistically make more money, have more success in life than the one who is not. I've had discussions with business leaders who say, oh, no, they have a chance to catch up. No, they don't. The adage is, you're learning to read by 3rd grade, you're reading to learn post 3rd grade. So if a lot of times when you get to 3rd grade, if you're not ready and you're not reading, you're putting a challenge on the teacher to try to bring that child forward. I realize now that when I was in 3rd grade, I was not reading at grade level, but I had a mother who was a school teacher who realized that, and she worked with me. Not everybody has that opportunity. Now, I'm coming to a business organization, and you're saying, well, why are you talking to us about this? Isn't this more of a social issue? Isn't this more of an educational issue? No, it's not. It's a business issue. 55% of all unplanned absences by employees are because of childcare issues. Every year, the state of Florida, or businesses in the state of Florida, will spend between $1.7 and $2.5 billion, with a B, in terms of recruitment and retention. When you add all that together and you add in lost wages, lost taxes, lost revenue for the state, that's a $5.5 billion problem for the state. It's not a social issue. It's not an educational issue. If these kids are not reading by 3rd grade, who are you going to hire in 15 years? So we need to look at it from that perspective. Additionally, there's 2 other things that I had no clue about. In the state of Florida, it is cheaper to send a kid to college or to get an AA degree than it is for a parent of a 3 or a 4-year-old to take care of that 3 or a 4-year-old. Many programs across the state, many community colleges have programs that you can graduate from high school with a degree, with an AA. In other cases, many communities have programs where you can basically get an AA degree for free. What are we doing to support the parents of the 3 and 4-year-olds? Now, the other thing that's interesting is that earlier we were talking about all these kids coming into the state, and for the last 5 or 6 years, you've heard of the greatest migration of wealth to Florida. Everybody's coming here. We're bringing in all this money. Yeah, all the people who are coming here to retire. The 25 to 34-year-olds are leaving. That's our future. That's the parents of those young children. And they're leaving because of 2 reasons. Costs of living is very expensive in Florida. And in many cases, when you drill down to the fact that as a parent of a 3 or a 4-year-old, it's really, really hard to maintain a life when you're trying to take care of this child with quality education, of course they're leaving. So what are we doing about it as a state? Now, this is an interesting slide, and I need to explain it. That 33.7% is what this is how much within a community, what percentage of the community is spending at least 30% of their gross income on housing. And in this community, it's 33.7% of you spend at least 30% of your income on housing. When you couple that with those who have young kids, 14.5% of their salary is going to taking care of a young child. When you add that together, I'm not a math major. I'm sure as an account, what is that, 48%? No, is it? Yeah, 49.2%. So a young family is spending about half of their income between housing and taking care of a young child, 3 or 4-year-olds, in terms of quality education. You can't sustain that. Now, I'll throw this out, and I love asking this question in a mixed crowd. If right now I were to ask you in the state of Florida or across the country, in college, what do you have more of, men or women? Women. What gender received more graduate degrees last year? Women. What gender received most postgraduate degrees? Who are the first ones to leave the workforce when they have a child? It's a business problem. How can we let our most trained, most educated, in a lot of cases the ones that are making a difference, leave without supporting them? That's why we come to businesses. That's why we're coming to organizations like yours to try to explain this. Now, the Bosses for Babies initiative is twofold. One is to recognize and highlight organizations who currently have family-friendly business policies, okay? And we'll get into that. Part 2, and probably the most important part, is to educate small businesses on 2 things. A, the important role you play in supporting those families and their children. And 2 is explaining that it's not a cost issue. When you consider family-friendly policies, you should not be saying, oh, I'm a small business, I can't afford that. It's not that. It's as simple as listening to your employees. Most people think that if you survey employees, the first thing they're going to ask for is money. No. The number one thing they ask for is flexibility. Because a lot of them are parents, a lot of them are trying to function and get things done. Like I said, the Bosses for Babies initiative has been around for about 5 years. We're 110, and it's about highlighting and recognizing organizations that support their employees. And we look at 5 different areas. And like I said, this is not a one-glove-fits-all. This is not about, oh, you have to have all 5 of these. Now, it's about paid leave, and we like to call it paternity because it's not just about the mother. It's about the father also participating in the whole process. It's flexible scheduling and work. Now, we all know post-COVID about, hey, I can work from home, blah. No, it's also about if you have part-time employees, do you have a fixed schedule for them? I remember when I was in high school, I worked at a theater and I loved it. It doesn't matter. As long as my shift started after 3, it didn't matter what my schedule was. I would get it every Friday. If you're a parent and trying to raise a child or coordinate a life, and you don't know your schedule till Friday, it's kind of difficult. So that whole process is when you're considering your part-time employees, it's also that ability to give them a fixed schedule. It's childcare. Yes, you're not many of you or most of you are not in the business of childcare, but there are organizations out there who are. There's ways to come up with ideas and be creative on that you can do to support your employees and their childcare needs. Health and wellness, of course, we understand that insurance is expensive and this, that, and the other, but are you providing at least the information to help a person, or let's say you can't provide the insurance because you're too small, but do you have the education to, hey, look, these are the programs available to somebody in your situation. These are the programs that you can use. It's working and surveying and explaining to your employees how you can support them. And then the last one, and my favorite, is accommodation and support. This could be as simple as converting a room in the back to a lactation room. It could be as simple as creating a room where a woman who needs to, is nursing can go there and take care of what she has to take care of. Or in other cases, it's the ability to bring a child to work, especially the first year. Because all they do, we know, is, eat, drink, sleep, and, poop, but that's fine. So it's any of these 5. I mean, I'm really excited that Susan is one of our bosses. Mr. McQueen, who I think may have come in, thank you, who just became our boss, and we'll be pinning him real soon. And let me stress one thing, and it's funny because as an ex-business guy, when I saw a non-for-profit guy come in, the first thing I thought, so how much are you asking for? We're not. This is not about asking you for money. This is about asking you to become an advocate. This is about asking you to support your employees. Listen to what their needs are. It's very simple. There's many ways to support an employee that doesn't necessarily mean, I have to throw money at it. It's listening to them. One of the things we do is we work a lot with HR organizations to explain, you've done a good job as a hiring manager in hiring a professional, right? Yeah, I did. So if that employee needs to leave at 3 to take care of a child or pick them up or drop them off or whatever the case is, you know that employee, or if you hired him correctly, he or she is gonna finish that work because they're a professional and you hired a professional. We get it. There's many frontline employees or positions or jobs across the state that can't because you're in the service industry, you're in the first responder industry. Well, to that, we have examples where you have frontline employees who are cross-trained within an organization, so if I have to be out, somebody else can fill my role, and it's a team effort. They all work towards the same cause. We have numbers that will back all this up, that a supported employee is more loyal, is more productive, and in a long time will stay with you a lot longer, getting back to that whole recruitment and retention issue. So again, it's not about spending money to try to do this. It's about, if you drill down and you are honest with yourself, how much it costs you every time an employee leaves, and you do the math, I would love to see what those numbers are. Because a lot of times we don't realize that we're spending more on that than we are in just trying to keep the good employees or the employees we have now. And again, the other thing is, why are we doing this? Well, we think it's a win-win-win. It's a win for businesses because you're going to keep, retain, and have more loyal, more productive employees. It's a win for families because by you supporting your employees today who are able to support their children, you're supporting 2 workforces, the workforce of today and the workforce of tomorrow. Remember that one that in 15 years you're going to hire that's going through 3rd grade right now and can't read? That's part of it. It's a win for families, like I said, because they're going to feel more supported, more loyal. It's if you don't have to worry about, I have to lie to my boss because I have to pick up my kid at 3 and I have to do this and I have to do that, it takes an incredible amount of stress away from the employee. And it's a win for Florida because in the long run, that there's $5.4 billion being lost every year because of the whole child care recruitment, people leaving issue, and so on. And like I said, with the Bosses for Babies initiative, we're not asking for money. We're not asking for anything other than you continue to support your employees. You continue to provide them with whatever you're doing, hopefully add other services. So what we do is we highlight them on our website, we push them across, talk about them, we highlight them on, and we talk about their, we push them out on our platforms, talking about what they're doing, any recruitment. And again, this is a great opportunity for you to position your business as, hey, I'm a family-friendly business. It's going to help me in recruitment. It's going to help me in retaining employees. And that's what we're about. We're about supporting you as a business. What I do is I literally travel around the state, and this is my 5th city in 4 days, talking about this. And if I have to come back and talk to whatever, that's what I do. An audience this size is phenomenal, but sometimes I've been in one-on-one meetings that will lead to multiple bosses. Because again, and when I was in advertising sales, it was funny because people, at the end of my pitch, I would say, I'm going to do everything I can for that ad to work for you, and we're going to see. Now people actually say, wow, I didn't know. Thank you for educating me on this. The other thing we have, and it's free, you can download it, we have hard copies of it and so on. It's a guide that we came up with a couple years ago. It's called The Guide to Family-Friendly Workplaces in Florida. 98 pages of facts, data, you name it. It has case studies on businesses. It has surveys that you as an employee can do, or excuse me, as an employer or an employee also can do, and find out, what you can offer, what you don't have to offer, and so on. And there's, like I said, the case studies. One I do want to talk about. There's two that I want to mention very quickly about small businesses. The United Way in Citrus County, they had 2 employees who just had children who were married to first responders. It was very hard for them to manage their life. They converted a back room to a playpen / holding area for the children. And it's become an incredible tool for them in talking about the services provided. Another one that I love to talk about, and again, because there's large businesses, Tampa General and Baptist, and all these wonderful organizations that actually offer all these, and it's easy to say, well, they're large, they can do this. No, we're talking about the smaller business, the restaurant in Babson Park, who couldn't retain employees because of the whole child care and picking them up. So she created a room where it becomes almost like a transfer station for kids coming and going from work. Even on the days when the employee's not working, the kids get dropped off there because it's a safe place for them. Anyway, I know that I'm about to get my hook, so the hook, I should say. I was anxious to get up here, now you know why. Anyway, we're all about children 0 to 5. You can go to our website, my information's there. I would love to talk to you. I would love to explain this. And again, if anything, we would just like you to become an advocate and realize the importance that everybody plays. And it was the survey that Susan asked earlier was great. Everybody plays a role in 0 to 5. And I hope the superintendent will agree. It's not that at 5 years old, magically your brain opens up and you start to learn. It doesn't work that way. It's from the day we're born, we're learning. And that's why this is so important. So thank you very much. And I apologize for jumping the order earlier, but have a great day, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Sometimes when you're going through these chamber things, you think, it's just going through the motions. But I'll tell you that one of the most impactful values of being a part of the chamber is that when we see an issue in the community, the chamber comes together to address those issues. I'll tell you, as Shane and I were just talking about it, Captain Bach came to us just a couple of years ago about child care being such an issue for our local military establishments. And I remember sitting in the conference room at the chamber watching a mom, tears rolling down her face, realizing that we're going to have to make a financial decision because we can't stay here and sustain our lifestyle because it's so expensive to take care of a child. So, Rick, we appreciate you being here. I'll tell you that the chamber is super aware of the need of this, and we're looking forward to seeing more how we can get involved and be a part of what you're doing. All right, so now is the time for community announcements. This is the portion of the program where we get to hear announcements, and we'd like to limit these to charitable not-profit organizations. It's extremely important that you limit your announcement to 15 seconds. Please, no profit business announcements, and only one announcement per person, or we'll boo you away from the microphone. All right.
Leanne Gaudet, Big Brothers Big Sisters, we have our annual kabuki event. This is where you can sponsor a table and actually cook hibachi, have somebody come out and be at your table. So there's costumes and prizes. We have a couple tables open for November 6th and November 13th, so 763 kids if you're interested.
I know you do. Let me hold your hand. That's all I want to do. Brian Taylor with United. Wow. Holy smokes. Tiffany, you did that. That's your fault. Brian Taylor with Doorways of Northwest Florida, your local hunger and homeless coalition. We're preparing for our annual point in time count in January, and we are looking for donations. Donations to recognize volunteers, but also donations to hand out socks, coats, hats, food, drinks, all those kind of things. So I'll be back in touch with you. Thank you.
There'll be a free women's health fair today at Intersections Event Center in Lynn Haven, 10 to 4.
Kirsten Ackerman with Girls Inc. of Bay County. We have our 10th annual Boots and Bling event on November 7th. We are selling tickets actively, and we are still looking for sponsorship support as well. Thank you.
Good morning, Robin Godwin, Ascension Sacred Heart Bay, here to introduce the first ever Flamingo Challenge in Bay County to raise awareness for women battling breast cancer. So if you are a supporter of the Flamingo Challenge or heard about it, we would love for you to join in. The flock is coming to Bay County, and we want to see the flock spread across the county. So for a donation, help us raise awareness for those who are going through breast cancer treatment and are also survivors. Thank you.
Jason Hedden, Gulf Coast State College. October 7th is National Night Out. The community can interact with first responders over in the South parking lot. Thanks.
Good morning, Larry Brown, Navy League of the United States. It's the 250th birthday of the Navy. All right. So on October 25th at the Edgewater, we're having our Navy Ball. It's open to the public, and then everybody's invited. I have tickets for sale, and we have sponsorships available as well. So I'll be out front when we're done. Thanks.
Hey, good morning. My name's Richard Buswell. I'm with Chrome Retreat in Marianna, Florida, and we are having a gala on November 1st from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Table sponsorships are available. Ticket sales available. It's at the new Endeavor Convention Center, as I said, and if you don't want to give locally, just know that 40% of our guys are from Bay County, so you are giving to Bay County when you come to Marianna. And also, if you want, just come for a tour at our campus. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Pat Ray with the Witches of St. Andrews. Our annual fundraiser is October 25th. We are desperately asking for your support for sponsorships, participation. See Leslie or I afterwards. We raise money for pancreatic cancer research and for local and area patient support for patients who are fighting pancreatic cancer. So see us if you would like to help as a sponsor or a participant. Thank you.
Good morning. Imagine a student who is in school trying to be resilient, but their mother just got placed into a mental institution. Or another student who parent is now unable to take care of them because they are overwhelmed. I am the student coordinator for Take Stock and Children for our Bay County schools, and looking for someone like you, a mentor that doesn't have to invest money, but just time of only 1 hour a month to help change the trajectory of a child's life. Please come see me if you're interested. I'm telling you, these kids are smart, they're ready, and they're waiting for you. Thank you.
So the Panama City Symphony is hosting Nightmare by the Bay, Beasts of the Bayou, Terror in the Mist. That is October 11th. We invite you to dress up, come and share some symphonic music. We would appreciate you. Thank you so much. Right.
Hi. Another way to support the children's movement and the kids here in Florida, specifically in Bay County and Washington County, is to volunteer for Reading Pals. If you want more information, please go to United Way, nwfl.org, or our Facebook page, or come find me.
All right, we are finishing right on time today. Thank you again to our program sponsor, Early Learning Coalition of Northwest Florida, our Rotunda sponsor, Ascension Sacred Heart, our coffee and refreshment sponsors, RC Events and Coca-Cola, and iHeartMedia in our lobby. We will look forward to seeing you November 7th at our next event. Hope you have a great day. Enjoy this beautiful Bay County weather.